This is Progressive Secular Pundit Politics. With today I'm going to be covering the debate, which was hosted by MSNBC. I apologize for being a bit late. I just had some things going on, but I already covered night one. If you guys have not seen that yet, it's on. Go watch it. I said in my night one, like the kids table, that it's kind of like, not that big of candidates. The only were very small candidates. But this is my thought on the Democratic debate for night two. And by the way, the moderators are so anti-Bernie Sanders, so establishment corporate Democrats. Chuck Todd, oh my God, Rachel Maddow, of Joe Biden. And in my opinion, the moderators are not hard enough on Joe Biden. They should have been harder than they were. So, like I did in my other video, my night one video, I'm basically going to be grading the candidates, all 10 of them, on how I thought they done, even the smaller candidates. So, what other? Lester Holt, there was that, I forget these two other ones' names. We're going to start off with, we're going to start off with the losers. Actually, we're going to keep Kamala Harris, which, in my opinion, I thought that start off with some of the biggest losers. We're going to start off with Michael Bennett, frat boy Michael Bennett, popular talk. Most of you guys know that I'm a frat boy Michael Bennett. Oh boy, he did absolutely terrible. He was using centrist talking points, basically attacking Bernie Sanders, Medicare for all. However, he did go after Joe Biden, which I guess was good. And for crying out loud, Joe Biden, Michael Bennett, that's pretty weak. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know who Michael Bennett was before going into this debate. He's a pretty low candidate. I mean, he's going to be dropping out soon. He's kind of like Delaney or Tim Ryan, just a very minor candidate that nobody even got to be on the debate stage. But yeah, he was pretty weak. He did have a few good moments, but for those, the reason why he gets a 5 out of 10 is because the 5 is for attacking Joe Biden. But the reason why he would not get a higher score, not do that well in terms of, he attacked Bernie Sanders. So that's one for tonight, Michael Bennett. Eric Swallwell, he kept on doing this. Eric Swallwell was even in this race. I mean, he's his debate performance was so cringy. I'm going to give him 10. He had these cringy puns. Break up with NATO, break up with Russia, and get back. Kind of cringy. So yeah, and for Mike, he kind of seems like a centrist, and nobody wanted to hear this guy talk. I mean, it's just Eric Swallwell was a pure idiot. So, then we get the breakfast cereal. John Hickenlooper from Secular Talk. He calls John Hickenlooper the breakfast cereal because his name kind of sounds like a breakfast cereal, a centrist breakfast cereal. Because we're just really out of 10. Because, I mean, he did say a few good things, but most of the things he said were like conservative, centrist talking points, saying that we can't left, we need centrism. He's kind of like the John Delaney of night two, that, Republicans are going to call us mean names if we move farther left. What else was he doing? He was there for all. He was saying, well, and we have almost near universal coverage, not even almost universal healthcare coverage, almost near, so close to almost near. So that's basically like saying United States of America has almost near universal health coverage. We have pretty much everyone covered by there are still 20 to 30 million Americans that are still uninsured. So I mean, yeah, he just did terrible. 4 out of 10 for John Hickenlooper. On to probably the biggest loser, I would give a 2 out of 10, was Joe Biden. Everyone in this which he should have. He did not get as much criticism in the first night, in my opinion. But yeah, he certainly did get a lot of criticism. Kamala Harris went after him during the busing thing. She basically said, I was that little girl. Why were you supporting segregated buses? Absolutely no response. He was just speechless after that attack. Michael Bennett attacked him. Sanders attacked him. Practically everyone for Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders did a good job going after the shield, which is Joe Biden. And when he dropped actually 10%, Kamala Harris went up. So now he's still in first place, but he's at 22%. Kamala Harris is at 20%. So Kamala Harris is front runner. So she's definitely a pretty big threat to Joe Biden. which is good. However, Kamala Harris is a bit of a so she's not, for Bernie fans and for progressives, Kamala Harris doing well. It's not necessarily that great. So who do we got? Michael Bennett, Eric Swallwell, John Hickenlooper, Joe Biden, Marianne Williamson. Now here are the candidates I didn't think. I thought or hurt themselves. Marianne Williamson, she was kind of iffy. I'm going to give her a 6 out of 10. She's a really low polling candidate. She was kind of a meme. I don't know. She just said some funny things, some crazy things. This woman is never going to be. She doesn't have she doesn't have any chance of at all. I mean, there were a few things that she said were kind of speak out, say that, you know, we need universal care for all. There were a few things. She also talked about slave reparations as well, which do not necessarily support slavery reparations, but they did do good during those moments. But again, I'm gonna talk about some anti-vax stuff or pull out pixie dust or something crazy like that. So yeah, another candidate himself was Andrew Yang. I mean, he did it all, but from Andrew Yang, I was definitely expecting a lot more from him. Andrew Yang is normally sharp. If you look at some of his news interviews, he does really well. He was on he goes on a lot of right-wing news outlets. He goes on Shapiro show. He was on Laura Ingraham Angle show. Let's do obviously. He was on Bill Maher a few weeks ago. So, but the problem is that he got the least talking time, the least amount of speaking out of everyone, and I think he didn't really interject that much. Whenever he was asked the question at the beginning, he did not even hear what they were saying. He was like, excuse me, what did you ask? I believe the question was, how do you pay for your UBI plan? So yeah, I mean, he also said that UBI is the way change, which I disagree with that. Listen, I support Andrew Yang. I think a good candidate. I think he's a decent candidate, but in my personal opinion, I do not believe that UBI is you know, the way to fix climate. So yeah, also said that NBC turned off his mic. Believe him, because he does have evidence, but hopefully he'll do better at the next debate, which will be at the end of this. So that's 6 candidates. Kirsten Gillibrand, listen, you know, she's a pure centrist. I just can't stand her. You know, Andrew Yang got a 6 out of 10. Kirsten Gillibrand 10 was just interrupting everyone, just annoying everyone with her pure centrist nonsense. You know, I hate just flat out. I mean, it's one thing to say I'm a centrist, I'm against free college, I'm against Medicare for all, people like Amy Klobuchar, but what she actually is a centrist, but she's progressive. That's whenever I have problems with that. But yeah, her overall debate performance, it was all right, but I mean, yeah, she did good. There were some times that she did do standards, but most of the time she was interrupting. So that's when we go to. I thought he was a candidate who did. I thought he was a candidate who did pretty have a few problems during the debate. For example, whenever he was asked the question on the recent police which, listen, I do not support Jed. She's kind of like, I'm a humble Christian. I'm a humble gay Christian, guys. He's kind of like this. Tries to be like Barack Obama, but the white gay version. He handled that police shooting in South Bend terribly, and this guy clearly does not very good. Pete Buttigieg shows terrible leadership. He's just your standard centrist politician. I actually apologize. I kind of forget where I left off because I had to make a video, well, in the first clip, because this is 2 clips combined together. This is the second clip, but in the first clip, clips together, and so I can have all my thoughts on all 10 candidates. But just to recap, candidates I already said, I thought that she did not help herself or hurt herself. She's kind of a meme. I don't think that she knows it, but she's kind of a meme. Thinks that crystals will heal you and all this other weird stuff. Kirsten joined during the debate. Pete Buttigieg, I thought he did good. However, he's your typical centrist politician. I did say earlier that I liked on how he mentioned the fact that mentioned atheist. I liked how he tackled the religious right. on how he basically said, you know, these people allow kids to be separated from their families at the border, which is a real thing, but in my opinion, he's just a centrist. Centrist did terribly. That boy Michael Bennett did terribly. Andrew Yang, he actually he did not do as well as I expected on the debate stage. He was more timid and did not did not get to say much on the debate stage. I was going to by the time you're watching this video, he is going to drop out. He's withdrawing from the race, and I always said that no matter, listen, I don't like Kamala Harris. I think that the media loves her. She's a centrist politician. She's been, like 2 years ago, since marijuana legalization, legalizing medical marijuana and also recreational. If we legalize marijuana, that will help solve a lot of our problems. Racism. People talk about police brutality all the time, how we have a police brutality problem in the United States. Racial police brutality is to legalize marijuana, and our problems. Legalizing marijuana would solve putting non-violent drug offenders in jail. So those are some benefits of legalizing marijuana. But she was she has that weird locking parents up for truancy thing. So Bernie Sanders. I mean, my Lord and Savior, Bernie. Listen, you know, I thought that at the beginning of the debate he was kind of slow. He attacked Joe Biden on supporting the Iraq war, which I thought that during the debate Bernie Sanders had a lot of anti-war. I'm sorry, this is like a week or two late. I liked how Bernie Sanders defended free college, defended they had asked the toughest questions on Bernie, which again, the corporate media, the corporate Democrats here clearly hate this threat to corporatism, to centrism. He's the biggest threat to this. And they were asking him a question at the beginning. They asked him a question on would you support raising taxes? On the opinion of answered the question better. He said, well, we'll raise public taxes. We'll raise, but they'll pay less in private taxes. So he basically kind of didn't give that. He should have said, well, they'll pay less private taxes. Don't care, less in premium, less in deductibles. However, they will pay a little bit more in government taxes. Excuse me for that great of an answer. So I thought that Bernie Sanders near the end, he did good. He was attacking Joe Biden's record, attacked him. Not as much as Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris did a phenomenal job. Now, I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. I already stated that attacking him, his was me. That was very good. And Joe Biden is I don't think he's gonna come back from that. I mean, that's such a huge hit that he got from cussing and refusing to apologize and refusing to basically say that he was wrong in his past for doing that. So, I also liked how Arabia basically mentioned the war in Yemen in his closing statement, which I thought was his closing statement, but I thought it was really good to give some light to Yemen and what's happening, the whole genocide that's Saudi. But I don't know if I mentioned him yet, because again, this is multiple clips over multiple days. I kind of Joe Biden. He definitely did the worst of all of the 10 candidates. Not just all the 10 candidates, but if all did absolutely terrible. It was just pure, oh my god, it was sad for Joe Biden. That's all I can say. It's absolutely sad for him. He was talking about how great Obama was. You know, he basically up this same thing. Look, I'm a centrist. Look, folks. I mean, and even he said it with "God bless the United States," as if, you know, this is just a Republican talking point. They say nice things like "God bless you," a terrible how John did it. It's a very poor debate performance, and in my opinion, it's all downhill from here for Joe Biden. This was just a start. Anyways, sorry for being so late, guys. These are my thoughts, and sorry that overall think is Marianne Williamson did not do that good. Pete Buttigieg did good. kIRSTEN GILLIBRAND, Joe Biden, oh my god, the biggest loser of them all, biggest primary debates. John Hickenlooper, terrible. What do you expect? Bernie says Hillary Clinton. He did really debates, but he certainly is not as good as he was in 2016. Michael Bennett, terrible. Eric Swallwell, terrible. And Kamala Harris, this was a huge win for her and a very big threat to Bernie Sanders and progressives, because she's going to be they're having another debate. The Democrats are having another debate at the end of July, and on CNN, in my opinion, this time Kamala Harris is going to, and if she's on the same debate stage, go after the more progressive wing. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening to my thoughts. It was thoughts that are kind of scattered throughout different clips I'm going to edit together, but yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Democratic debates. Night 2 stuff, going to be debunking some right-wing talking points on my channel, because this is a lefty progressive channel, and it's some news that we have with the candidates. So, yeah, it's basically